The crash that changed everything. Ethan Cole had been flying through deep space alone. His ship, the Star Arrow, was old but strong. He was carrying supplies between space stations. Nothing seemed strange, until it happened. The sky in front of him turned white. A sudden wave of energy hit the ship. The controls sparked. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Ethan tried to regain control, but it was useless. The ship spun out of control. Mayday! Mayday! Star Arrow losing power. Crashing! Ethan yelled into the radio, but no one answered. The last thing he saw before blacking out was a glowing blue planet rushing toward him. When Ethan opened his eyes, everything was silent. Smoke filled the broken cockpit. Sparks flickered, his arms were bleeding and his head was spinning. The ship had crashed in a dense glowing forest. Strange purple trees swayed slowly even though there was no wind. The ground was soft and warm, almost breathing. "Where am I?" he whispered. He unbuckled himself and stepped outside. His boots sank slightly into the glowing soil. The air smelled sweet, like fruit and flowers, but it also felt heavy. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Soft, careful footsteps coming. From the trees, Ethan pulled out his emergency pistol. "Show yourself," he shouted, trying to sound brave. His hand was shaking. From behind the trees, shapes began to appear. Tall figures, all female. Their skin shimmered like silver mixed with pale gold. Their eyes glowed softly, some blue, some violet. They weren't wearing armor but elegant body robes that moved like mist. Their hair flowed like silk, long and strange. Their faces were beautiful, but they didn't look fully human. One of them stepped forward. She was taller than the rest. Her eyes were deep green, like glowing emeralds. She raised both hands slowly and spoke in broken English. "Human. You, not enemy?" Ethan stared at her, stunned. "You speak English?" She nodded slowly. "Little, taught from sky signals. We wait for human. Long time." His mind raced. "Wait, what do you mean, wait for human?" Another woman spoke from behind her. "You are hope." Ethan took a step back. "Hope for what?" The first woman looked into his eyes. Her expression was soft but filled with something strange. Desperation. "Please, come with us, our queen waits." Before he could respond, his legs gave out. Blood loss, exhaustion. He fell to the ground. The last thing he saw was the tall woman kneeling beside him, gently lifting his head. "Do not die, human," she whispered. "We need you." Ethan woke up in a soft bed. The walls around him were made of smooth white stone, glowing faintly. The ceiling was high, shaped like flower petals. Strange blue light floated in the air. His wounds were gone. He tried to sit up, but a hand pressed him gently back down. It was her, the same woman from the forest. "You safe now?" she said. "Where am I?" he asked. She bowed her head. "You, in Queen's Palace, safe place. No hurt here." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "I don't understand. Why are you helping me? Who are you people?" The woman looked away as if ashamed. "We, last of race. No males remain. All gone. For years." Ethan blinked. "You mean your entire species is only women?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. And we cannot make new life. We tried everything. Cloning, science. Nothing works." Ethan looked at her carefully. "So, why me?" The door opened. 2 guards stepped in. Behind them came a new figure, taller, stronger, more powerful. She wore a crown made of crystal vines. Her eyes were fierce but tired. The woman beside Ethan stood and bowed. "The Queen." The Queen stepped forward. Her voice was smooth but carried heavy weight. "You are the first human to step on this soil in 1,000 years," she said. Ethan nodded slowly. "I didn't mean to crash here." "I know," the Queen replied, "but fate brought you, maybe for a reason." He sat up. "Look, if you saved me, thank you. But I still don't know what you want from me." The Queen came closer. "We need you," she said. For what? Ethan asked, though he had started to guess. The Queen took a deep breath. To help us reproduce. Without you, we will die out forever. Ethan stared at her, speechless. She wasn't threatening him. She wasn't forcing him. But her voice carried the weight of a dying world. Ethan stood in silence. The Queen's words echoed in his ears. Help us reproduce, or we disappear forever. Kritar. Room was too quiet. The glowing walls around him pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. His own heart pounded louder. I don't understand, he said finally. Why me? Why humans? The Queen sat down on a floating glass-like seat, her long silver dress folded around her like water. Her face was calm, but sadness filled her eyes. A long time ago, she began, our scientists reached beyond our star system. We studied other species. Many could not survive here, some were hostile, but humans adapted. She looked him in the eye. Your blood, your DNA, it's strong, flexible. Long ago, one human visited our world. He helped us. Then he vanished. We believe you are from his kind. Ethan's hands curled into fists. So, you brought me here? She shook her head. No, your crash was not our doing. But it may be destiny. He took a step back. You want me to mate with your people like a breeder? The Queen stood. Her height almost matched his. No, we do not see you as an object, not a tool. You are a person with a choice. But understand this. Without a child born soon, our race ends. Already we are becoming sick. The younger alien woman, the one who had helped him in the forest, stepped forward now. You would not be forced, she said softly. The Queen would bond with you first, it is sacred. Ethan looked between them, feeling the pressure like a mountain on his chest. This is too much, he said. I'm just a mechanic pilot. I don't even know how your people work. The Queen gave a soft smile. That is why we begin with testing. No contact, no pressure, just compatibility. If you are not the match, we will accept it. Testing? Ethan raised an eyebrow. Like lab stuff? Yes, the Queen said. You will go with Livara. She is one of our best bioscholars. The young woman nodded. I will explain everything, and I will stay with you. You are not a prisoner, Ethan. Later, in a clean room that smelled like mist and soft herbs, Ethan sat on a glowing bench. Strange, floating instruments moved around him. Livara stood beside him. Her hands moved in the air, controlling data screens that only she could see. You okay? She asked. Define okay, Ethan replied, trying to joke. I crash-landed, woke up in a fantasy palace, and now I'm part of a survival plan to repopulate an alien species. She gave a small laugh. Your humor is strange, but I like it. Ethan relaxed just a little. Livara ran a small, glowing orb over his arm. It tingled. Your biology, it is very compatible, she whispered. This is rare. He looked at her. How rare? She turned, eyes wide. 1 in a million, maybe 1 in a galaxy. Then something on her floating screen changed. She froze. Ethan sat up. What is it? Livara looked at him slowly. The Queen suspected it, but now it is proven. What? You're not just compatible with our kind, you're only compatible with her. Ethan blinked. You mean just the Queen? She nodded. Her bloodline, her energy field. No other match is possible. He stood up. So, this test was never about choice. It was about confirming her guess. Livara looked down. Yes and no, she hoped, but you were always free to say no. Ethan paced the room. But if I say no, your race will die, Livara said. Yes. He sat down again. Why me? Why not use science? Artificial stuff? Cloning? Livara's voice lowered. We tried, many times. Every child born was hollow. No spirit. No soul. They didn't survive. She placed her hand on his. You were not brought here, Ethan. But maybe you were meant to come. That night, Ethan stood on a high balcony, looking at the twin moons above. The sky was full of soft trails of color like northern lights. The Queen joined him, silent at first. After a while, she spoke. I was trained to rule. I never thought I would beg, but I do now. Ethan turned toward her. Not for power, not for pride, but for my people, and for the unborn who cry in the silence of our future. Ethan swallowed hard. I'm not a hero. The Queen smiled. Neither was the last human who came here, but he gave us hope. You remind me of him. Ethan looked at her, then up at the stars. Maybe he didn't crash by accident. Maybe fate had a plan. But what kind of plan? The room looked like a dream, or a nightmare. Ethan stood in the middle of it, shirt removed, wearing only a loose robe given by Livara. Around him, the walls pulsed softly with blue light. Floating machines buzzed gently, some scanning the air, others silently recording data. But what made Ethan uneasy was not the machines. It was the silence. Livara was no longer smiling. Her face was pale, her fingers tense as she waved her hands in the air, reading symbols and light that Ethan couldn't understand. How long is this going to take? He asked, trying to sound casual, though his stomach felt tight. Livara didn't answer at first. Then, finally, she said, Something is strange. Ethan's heart skipped. Strange? You said everything was normal before? I said compatible, she corrected. But now the system shows changes in you. Fast changes. Since yesterday. Ethan took a step back. What kind of changes? Livara looked up at him slowly. Your DNA is adapting to this planet. It's responding to the Queen's energy. As if you're being prepared. Prepared? By who? Ethan asked sharply. She looked unsure. By nature? By this world itself? Or by something older? Ethan's mind raced. I didn't sign up for this. Livara turned off the machines. We should stop for now. But before they could move, the door slid open. 2 alien women in ceremonial robes entered, followed by the Queen. She looked serious. Livara quickly bowed. He needs rest. His system, the Queen raised her hand. There is no more time, we must speak. They led Ethan into a tall chamber shaped like a star. The ceiling above was open to the night sky, the twin moons casting silver light down. Onto the floor, the Queen stood across from him. There is something you don't know, she said. Ethan crossed his arms. No kidding. The Queen stepped closer. This planet is alive, Ethan. Not just the trees, not just the animals. The world itself. Long ago we called it Varion Na, the heart planet. She looked into his eyes. When a soul worthy steps, on its soil the planet reacts. It chooses. Ethan laughed bitterly. Are you saying the planet chose me? Not me, the Queen said softly. The world. Livara looked afraid. There's more. The tests show, not only are you compatible with the Queen, you are now starting to change. Your blood is no longer fully human. Ethan stared at her. What? Your cells have begun syncing with the Queen's life field, she whispered, as if the bond has already started. But I haven't agreed to anything, Ethan shouted. The Queen didn't move. You entered the sacred forest. You touched the soil. You were accepted. Consent is sacred to us, but the bond is now beyond us. Ethan backed away. You said I had a choice. The Queen stepped forward, eyes glowing faintly. You still do, but time is short. There are those who do not believe in waiting. Just then the chamber trembled. A strange buzzing filled the air. The Queen's guards drew their glowing weapons. Livara gasped. No, they're here already. Who? Ethan asked. The Queen's voice turned cold. The Separatists, a group of our kind who want to force human bonding, By cloning you or harvesting your cells. No soul, no consent. Only survival. Ethan's blood froze. They want to use me like a lab rat? The Queen nodded. They believe in saving the race at any cost. But I do not. Suddenly an explosion shook the side of the palace. Screams echoed from the lower floors. The Queen turned to her guards. Get him to safety. But Ethan grabbed her arm. No, I'm not leaving you behind. For a second, something flashed in her eyes. Surprise, maybe, or hope. She whispered, then stay close. And remember, you are no longer just a human. Ethan, you're something more. They ran through the glowing halls. Alien women rushed past, some injured, some carrying weapons. Crystals on the walls flickered and cracked. Ethan looked to Livara as they ran. What do they want to do? With me exactly? She didn't look back. Take your blood. Make hundreds of copies, children without will, without soul. He shook his head. I won't let that happen. As they reached a sealed chamber, Livara turned toward him. There is only one way to stop the bond from being misused, she whispered. What is it? Complete it willingly, with the Queen. Once bonded, no one can use your DNA again. Ethan stood still. You mean, go through with it now? She nodded. Behind him, the Queen waited in silence. Outside, the sound of glass shattering and alien weapons charging filled the air. Ethan looked at her, at the Queen, at the frightened people running to save their future, and at the war that had come to steal his body. And he made his choice. Ethan followed the Queen and Livara down a dim corridor beneath the palace. The sounds of battle echoed above, shouts, crystal blasts, and screams from alien voices. The air was heavy with heat and fear. They reached a sealed door carved into glowing stone. Livara placed her hand on it, and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside was a narrow room with no windows and no lights, only a round table in the middle. This chamber is hidden from all signal paths, the Queen said. Even the rebels can't find it. For now. Ethan's hands were shaking. How many? If your own people are trying to kill you? Livara looked at him sadly. Not kill. Just replace your free will. The Queen nodded. To them, you are not a person anymore. You are a solution in flesh. Ethan sat down, breathing hard. I didn't ask for this. No, the Queen replied. But sometimes the storm picks its own hero. Livara sat across from him. She leaned forward and whispered, There is more you must know. The Queen glanced at her. Livara. But the younger woman didn't stop. Before you came, there was already a plan. A secret one. You were not the first human they tried to bring. Ethan's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Livara's voice lowered. 5 years ago, a human explorer ship passed near our system. One male was captured. He refused to cooperate. They locked him in a cryopod. His name was... She stopped. Jason. Ethan froze. His heart stopped. Jason Cole? She nodded. My brother, Ethan whispered. The Queen's head bowed. He was strong, brave, but he was never meant to be hurt. I was away when they took him. When I returned, he was gone. He escaped. Ethan stood up. You lied to me. No, the Queen said quickly. I never knew he was your brother. That truth was hidden, even from me. But your people kidnapped him. Not my people, she said. The ones above us. The scientists. The same ones who now want you for breeding. They acted in secret, against our law. Livara stepped forward, placing a hand on Ethan's arm. I told you. I never supported this. That's why I helped you from the start. Ethan pulled away. His mind was spinning. His brother had come here. He had escaped, maybe died, or maybe still out there, alone. He looked at the Queen. And now you want me to trust you? The Queen didn't flinch. No, I only ask that you listen, because right now you are in danger. Suddenly the lights flickered. The stone door behind them shook. Livara turned pale. They found us. From outside, a voice shouted through a comm device. Open the door! He belongs to the species, not to one woman. Ethan moved toward the door. Let me talk to them. The Queen grabbed his wrist. No, if you speak, they'll mark your voice print and track your cells across the city. Livara nodded. They don't want to talk. They want to take you and clone you endlessly. No soul, no emotion, just meat with DNA. Ethan clenched his fists. And you're telling me the only way to stop them is to finish the bond? The Queen nodded. Yes. A sacred bond creates a life field lock. Your DNA can no longer be copied by force. You would be mine and I yours. One. But what if I don't want that? Ethan asked quietly. Livara's voice trembled. Then, they'll tear you apart for samples. They won't kill you. That would be too kind. The door shook again. Cracks appeared in the wall. The Queen walked to the center of the room and pressed her hand to the ground. A circle of white light opened beneath her. She looked at Ethan. You don't have to choose me, she said, but choose now. Time has no mercy. Ethan stared at her. His heart raced. Betrayals, secrets, a brother lost, a world dying. He thought of Earth, of how he had always felt small there, lost, forgotten. But here, in this broken palace, surrounded by strangers, he mattered. He walked slowly toward the Queen. I don't know if I'm ready, he said. She gave a soft smile. No one ever is. Ethan stepped into the circle of light beside her. The door burst open. Armed women flooded in. But just before they could fire, the circle flashed. A beam of light swallowed Ethan and the Queen whole, and they were gone. Ethan blinked as the light faded. He was no longer in the underground chamber. No walls, no doors, no guards. He now stood in a wide, open space, glowing softly with pale blue light. A gentle wind touched his skin, though there were no trees. The ground beneath him was smooth like glass but warm like skin. Overhead, a glowing orb floated. Not the sun, not the moon. Something else. And beside him stood the Queen. But now, she looked different. Her ceremonial robes were gone. Her hair flowed freely, glowing faintly with gold threads. She didn't wear a crown. Her eyes no longer carried the weight of a ruler, only the quiet pain of a woman holding on to her last hope. Ethan took a step back. Where are we? She looked at him calmly. The soul chamber, hidden in the heart of the world. I thought that was just a name, he said. She shook her head. Our world is alive. She listens, she watches, and in here, she waits. Ethan's voice was a whisper. Waits for what? The Queen slowly turned to face him. For your choice. They stood in silence for a moment. Then slowly, a glowing path formed beneath their feet. Two separate trails of light, leading to a single shining circle at the center of the chamber. If you walk with me, the Queen said, we will bond, not just flesh, not just blood, but soul to soul. You will never be used, never be taken. And if I don't? Ethan asked. She looked into his eyes. Then we will hide you, protect you, but our enemies will never stop. They will tear our world apart, and we will die, one by one. Ethan turned away, heart pounding. He had always lived a quiet life. No glory, no fame. Just fixing engines, flying cargo, and trying to stay out of trouble. Now he was being asked to become the last seed of a species. The Queen stepped closer. You don't have to love me, she said softly. You don't even have to stay forever. But walk into the circle with me, and our blood will seal a future. One life. One chance. Just then, a memory flashed in Ethan's mind. His brother Jason. laughing with him under the stars back on Earth. Jason had always believed in fate, in purpose, in something more than just survival. Someday, Jason once said, you'll be the reason someone survives. Ethan closed his eyes, and he stepped forward. The Queen gave a soft breath, almost a gasp. Their footsteps lit the path beneath them, each step echoing like a heartbeat through the chamber. When they reached the center, the light rose around them like a slow flame. The Queen gently reached out her hand. "May I?" Ethan nodded. She touched his chest with her palm, right over his heart. And then, a pulse of energy surged between them, bright, warm, alive. Their bodies lit with golden strands that flowed from her hand to his skin. Symbols danced in the air, glowing runes that only the world could read. His breath caught in his chest. His heart beat faster, and then slowed. Calm. The Queen placed her forehead against his. "I give my spirit to this bond," she whispered, "not as queen, but as a woman of a dying people who dares to hope again." Ethan whispered, "And I give mine, not as a hero, but as a man who chooses." The light exploded upward, silent, pure, endless. The planet answered. When the light faded, they were still standing, but something had changed. Ethan looked at his hands. His skin shimmered faintly like he had touched the stars. The Queen looked brighter, stronger, whole. And somewhere deep inside him he felt something new, like a voice that was not his, whispering softly, "Thank you." Back in the palace, alarms still blared. Rebels searched every hall. But when the Queen and Ethan returned, walking side by side through the front gate, all weapons were lowered. Some women gasped, others fell to their knees. The Queen's aura was different, now bonded, glowing, untouchable, and Ethan was no longer just human. He had become the protector of their future. But in the shadows, someone watched them silently. A hooded figure with a long scar across her cheek whispered into a device. "The bond is complete. Begin the next phase. He's too valuable to lose now." The Queen's bond with Ethan changed everything. For a short while, the palace became silent. Calm returned. The rebels disappeared into hiding. No one dared touch the bonded pair. Their glowing lifelink made Ethan untouchable, sacred. But peace, Ethan learned, was only an illusion, because beneath the palace, someone was watching and waiting. Ethan stood on a balcony days later, looking over the alien city below. The sun was soft, the sky colored with three hues: gold, blue, and faint pink. Alien children played in the courtyards. He heard laughter for the first time. Livara stepped beside him. Her face was pale. "You should come inside," she said. Ethan glanced at her. "Something wrong?" She hesitated. "The Queen is meeting with the council. Some elders are not happy about the bond." He raised an eyebrow. "Why? Isn't it what they wanted?" "Some, yes," she said, "but others think you now have too much power." Ethan looked at his hand. The faint shimmer still glowed under his skin. Ever since the bond, he felt stronger, faster. But more than that, he felt connected to the Queen, to the planet itself. "What aren't you telling me, Livara?" She sighed. "There's a secret chamber beneath the throne room, locked for centuries. It opened yesterday by itself, after the bond." Ethan frowned. And something inside it is moving. That night, while the Queen was in a royal sleep state, Ethan slipped out quietly. Livara guided him through a narrow corridor beneath the throne. The air was thick and cold, filled with soft humming sounds that vibrated in his bones. They reached an ancient door made of dark stone and red crystal. Strange marks pulsed across it like veins. Ethan paused. "You sure we should be here?" Livara didn't answer. She placed her hand on the door. It opened with a slow, heavy groan. Inside, the chamber glowed with eerie green light. Floating above a black altar was a pod, not alien in design, but human. Ethan's eyes widened. The markings were clear. Property of Earth Command, Biocontainment Unit, X-47. His heart stopped. Jason, he whispered. The pod's display showed one word. Stasis. Active. Ethan ran forward. It's him. He's alive! But before he could touch the pod, the lights in the chamber turned red. Doors slammed shut. Livara stepped back. I'm sorry, she whispered. What? Ethan turned, confused. What are you? From the darkness, soldiers stepped out. Alien women in heavy armor. Their faces were cold. Weapons pointed at him. You betrayed me? He said, stunned. Livara's eyes filled with tears. I didn't want to, but they took my sister. They said if I don't help capture you, they'll kill her. Ethan stepped protectively in front of the pod. What do they want? A new voice echoed from the dark. The future. A tall figure walked into the light. The scarred woman from before. The leader of the separatists. You bonded with the Queen. Good. Now your DNA is locked, perfect. We couldn't clone you before. But now we can take both of you, split the code. Ethan clenched his fists. You'll have to kill me first. The scarred woman smiled. We don't need to kill you, just harvest you. She lifted a strange silver device, full of needles and wires. Livara screamed, No! Before they could move, the chamber shook violently. From the pod, lights flared, and then it opened. A man slowly stepped out, covered in frost and wires. Tall, dark hair, tired eyes. Jason Cole. Ethan gasped. Jason? Jason blinked, confused. Ethan? Where am I? The scarred woman turned pale. No, he wasn't supposed to wake. Ethan grabbed a rod from the wall and smashed it into the nearest guard. The room exploded into chaos. Jason staggered but moved like a soldier. He grabbed Ethan's arm. Move, now. The brothers ran through the tunnels, Livara behind them, sobbing. I didn't know they'd bring him back, she cried. I thought only you were the target. Jason looked at Ethan. Tell me what's happening, Ethan panted. You won't believe me, but I bonded with their queen. And now, I'm part of this planet. Jason stared. You always were the lucky one. Ethan gave a half laugh. You're the one who got to sleep through the worst part. They stopped in front of a sealed gate. Behind them, footsteps echoed. Livara stepped forward. There's a secret exit this way, follow me. They slipped through just before the doors closed. But now nothing would ever be the same. Because Jason was back, and the rebellion was no longer just after one human. They wanted both. The hidden tunnels beneath the palace were silent, except for the hurried footsteps of two human brothers and one frightened alien girl. Jason limped slightly, still recovering from years inside the pod. Ethan moved beside him, bruised but steady. Livara led them, glowing torch in hand, eyes scanning every shadow. Above them, war had begun. The separatists were no longer hiding. They wanted both brothers, and they would stop at nothing. They've breached the outer walls, Livara whispered, pressing her hand to a glowing panel. The Queen is holding them back, but she's surrounded. Ethan clenched his jaw. We have to reach her. Jason raised a brow. Wait, you bonded with her? Ethan nodded. I didn't plan to, but she gave me a choice. I made it. Jason stared at him. Then slowly a smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. About time you did something big. As they reached the final gate, an explosion rocked the tunnel. Smoke and heat rushed in. From the crack in the wall, alien soldiers burst through. Not the Queen's guards, but rebel fighters armored in black. Ethan pushed Livara behind him. Jason grabbed a broken beam from the wall. We're not dying. In a tunnel, he said. The rebels raised their weapons, but before they could fire, the wall shook again. From above, light poured down like a waterfall of stars. And then she appeared. The Queen. Her body floated down through the cracked ceiling, glowing like a goddess. Her eyes were burning gold. Her voice echoed with power. "He is mine. And you will not touch him again." The rebels dropped their weapons. The Queen's presence was too strong. No longer just a leader, she was now bonded to the world itself. The rebels fell back. Some fled. Others dropped to their knees in fear. Jason helped Ethan up. "Well, she's definitely not your average alien." The Queen turned to Ethan, and for the first time she looked afraid. "They will return," she said. "With more ships, more science. The bond will no longer protect you both." Ethan stepped closer. "Then what do we do?" Livara stepped forward, trembling. "There's one more path. One final bond." Jason raised an eyebrow. "Don't look at me. I'm not marrying anyone." Livara shook her head. "No, not marriage, not physical." She looked at Ethan. "If you and your brother enter the Soul Circle together, you can complete the ancient twin seed code." The Queen nodded slowly. "Your bond with me saved our race, but a twin bond with your brother will save the world." Ethan looked at Jason. Jason looked back. "You trust me?" Ethan asked. Jason smirked. "You woke me up. I trust you with my life." Inside the soul chamber, the air was electric. The two brothers stood in the center of the glowing circle. As the Queen and Livara watched silently, symbols rose into the air, dancing like fireflies. The planet responded. Ethan placed his hand over Jason's. "We do this together," he said. Jason nodded. "Let's light the stars." As their hands joined, a blinding wave of light exploded, outward. The chamber cracked. The ground shook. The entire planet trembled. In the skies above, rebel warships approached. But as they neared the surface, their engines failed. Systems crashed. Lights blinked out. One by one, their ships fell from the sky gently, as if held by invisible hands, and landed harmlessly across the forests. A wave spread across the galaxy. A message. The last bond is sealed. The human heart has chosen. This world is protected. Weeks later, the planet was healing. The Queen now walked with Ethan beside her. Their child, still growing, glowing within her, was the future of her people. Jason, now healthy, worked with Livara to set up communication with Earth. Maybe one day humans and aliens would meet, not as enemies, not as science experiments, but as family. Ethan stood on a hilltop and looked out over the Crystal City. He smiled. He had once thought he was just a pilot, just one man. But now, he was the father of a future, and his people were no longer just human. The end.